30 degrees. Good. So write 30 degrees under that one, just so we won't have to go back and do this, okay? 5 pi over 3. If you don't know what that is, I can type in what in my calculator? And divide it by 3. And that's going to give us what? Everybody agree? Okay. What about this next one? What is pi, just plain pi over 3? 60. So negative 60 is the same thing as subtracting 60 from what? 360. So what's 360 minus this 60 degrees? 300. Pi is the same thing as what? Good. Same thing here, negative pi over 4. What is pi over 4? So what is 360 minus 45 degrees? 3. Good. And then 135 is just 135. Okay, so for 90 degrees, you always find the degree first. 90 is right here, pi over 2, and you go 3 towards this degree. Why? Because the 3 is positive. So you start at the origin. Here's 90. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 places towards it. That's 0.1. Questions on that one? 300. Number 2, here is 0 degrees, but it's negative 2, so I go what? Left. Away from 0 degrees. So I'll go on this side over 2. We'll do one more together. Any specific one y'all want to look at?
Number 7.
Okay. Number 7 is again at 315. That's going to be this angle right here, because it's slap dab in the middle of quadrant 4. But it's negative 3, so I'm going to go 3 away from 315. That's going to be on the opposite side. So that'll be 1, 2, 3 at this point. Alright, do the rest of the graphing part on your own. So you're working on number 3, 4, 5, 6, and 8. Graph these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points. We'll zoom out. Yep, okay back there. Y'all need more time on these? Anybody want to come draw one of these points up here? Which one you want to draw, Antonio? Alright, come on up. Very good. Put a 3 beside it. Thank you. What do y'all think? So a little off. It's supposed to be like right there, but that's good. It's probably just this. Any questions on that? Who wants to draw number 4? You coming up, Cole?
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Good 4. Everybody agree? Right here? Any questions? Who wants to do the next one? No, you already did one. Thank you, though. Come on up, Abigail. Number 5. All right, what do y'all think? 5. Let's go over this one, okay? So tell me where 300 degrees is at, Abby, on here. 300 degrees.
300 degrees
Yes.
is, hold on, it's right here.
Very good. All right, so there's 300, and now we're going to go 1 towards it. So that's going to be where?
Okay, just put it in one spot.
Good. Go ahead.
Okay, these are
1 towards that degree. So you start here and go 1 towards it. And put a dot. Very good. Does that make sense?
Yeah. All right.
So this is number 5. This one's good. And who's going to do the last 2? Thank you. Come on up, Solomon. Number 6. You can do both of them, actually. There we go. I've been trying to figure out how to do that all year. All right, go ahead.
Okay.
All right, what do y'all think? Number 6?
Where?
Right here? Almost. On
Other
number
side?
6, pi is right here. So if you're going 2 away from pi, it's going to be where?
Oh, it's on. Okay.
Go ahead. Very good. So just on the other side. All right, now the last one, number 8. Is where? Good. And then you're going 2 away from it.
She's the weird.
Yeah, I know.
2 away.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Just put 8 by it. Thank you. So number 8 is right here. Y'all good with graphing polar chords? Alright, now let's get on to the harder stuff, which is going from rectangular to polar and vice versa. Okay. To go from polar to rectangular, there's a certain formula you have to remember, but it's kind of common sense, but you'll have to know this for the quiz tomorrow.
Polar to rectangular.
From polar to rectangular. Alright, so we know that x is our what value when we're talking about the unit circle? Cosine. So x is going to have something to do with cosine theta. What goes in front here?
3.
R. Very good. I'm just thinking of the formula. And y is the same thing as what?
Sine.
Very good. So let's set this up. Our x value, what is our r in this case? 3. So we have 3 cosine of what is pi over 2? Good. Now let's think. 90 degrees, that's on an axis, correct? This one right here. So what is our x and y coordinates here for this point? Good. So cosine is our x value. So cosine of 90 degrees is what? So it'd be 3 times 0. Y is 3 sine of 90. Sine of 90 is going to be what? 1. So 3 times 1. So our rectangular coordinates are going to be 0, 3. Very good. What now? Yeah, you could type in cosine of 90 in your calculator. That's fine. Yeah. Questions on that one? Let's do 2 of these together. Any specific ones y'all want to do together? 12 and what else? 10? Okay. Alright, number 10, to set it up, it'd be x equals -2 cosine of 0 degrees. And we have y equals -2 sine of 0. So just like Antonia said, you can type cosine of 0 in your calculator or just write it out. But cosine of 0 degrees is going to be what? 1. Very good. And then sine of 0 degrees is going to be what? Very good. So our coordinate points are going to be, very good. Any questions on those two? Alright, last one together, and then I'll let you do 11 and 13 on your own. Negative pi over 3, what is that? Negative what?
30.
Negative 30 or negative 60?
300, but it's 30.
Okay, so it's negative 60. So you would do 360 minus 60. So this is really the same thing as what? Good, 300 degrees. Does everybody know how I got that?
Yes.
Okay. So to set it up, it's going to be x equals what? Cosine of. And we have y equals -1 sine of 300. Alright, if you do not, or this one, if I typed it in my calculator, cosine of 300, it would give me 0.5. That's the same thing as what?
1/2.
1/2. So x is going to be -1 times 1/2 because that's cosine of 300. Now y, if I type in sine of 300 in my calculator, can I leave it like this?
No.
No. You have to know what this value is.
It's like square root.
So if you don't know what this value is, what do you have to do? You have to do the hand trick, guys. If you don't know this value by heart, and I do because I've done tricks so much, and some of y'all probably know it, but if you don't, you have to use the hand trick. So to use the hand trick, you have to have the reference angle. What's the reference angle? Nope. The reference angle of 300 is 60 because 360 minus 300 is 60. So that's going to be this finger. What side is sine?
Right, so it's going to square root 3 over 2.
Yes, square root of 3 over 2. But not just square root of 3 over 2. It's going to be negative because this is in quadrant what? Nope. Quadrant 4. So sine's going to be negative. And just so y'all know, another shortcut to this, if you know that cosine is 1/2, you know sine has to be what? Root 3 over 2. They go together. If one of them's root 3 over 2, the other one has to be 1/2. What also goes together? Root 2 over 2 and root 2 over 2. Okay? So our x and y coordinates for this one is going to be what? And negative? Positive. Root 3 over 2. Very good. Go ahead and try 11 and 13 on your own. And let me know if you need some help. You got a quiz on this. And checkpoint at the end of class. Hey. Yeah, it's short.
this is correct, and you just need to multiply them together. So like, yeah, negative 2 root 2 over 2. And you see that these cancel, you just have negative root 2 right there. Same thing for the next one.
This is the other one.
We just got drilled into one of those instructors.
Yes, so the finish will top. Okay, and your side is
Tired?
so this area. There. And then together. The next one has to be the same.
I had that last
Shit.
Freshman.
Oh, no, freshman. Freshman was fun. We did it. We got there. Like, come on. You know what I'm saying? Let's go to the league. Shit. You tell me
Alright. I'm going to put the answers up here, and then if y'all need to go over one, y'all can. Or we can, excuse me. Number 11, the answer that I got was negative 3 root 3, and then 3.
I got the same thing the first time, and then I typed in my calculator, and it gave me a decimal, so I put in negative 3 root 3 and hit enter, and it gave me
Did you work that number?
Okay, yeah, we'll work this one out. I might have made a boo-boo.
I got her.
Alright, it's going to be x equals 6 cosine of, and let's go ahead and find, what's the reference angle of 150?
30.
Okay. And then this one's going to be y equals 6 sine of 30. Sine of 30 is going to be, cosine of 30 is going to be what? Good. So it's going to be 6 square root of 3 over 2. And let's check. It's going to be negative y. Good, so cosine's negative. And then y is going to be 6 times positive 1/2. So that's going to give you negative 3 root 3. And this is going to give you 3.
So that's the answer I got the first time when I did it on paper. Whenever I checked it, the calculator, it told me that it was
It told you cosine of 150 was different?
yeah, like I typed in 6 cosine of 30, and it gave me a decimal point. So I typed in what my answer that I got, which was negative root 3 or negative 3 root 3,
Mm-hmm.
and it gave me a negative number.
Yeah, it should be negative.
Oh yeah, because 2 negatives.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
All right, any questions on that one? And the next one is supposed to be root 2, negative root 2. Do we need to go over this one? Everybody's good? All right. Now, the last one is going from rectangular to polar, so backwards. This one's a little more trickier, so stay with me. The ones with zeros on them are the easiest for your quiz and your checkpoint, and I'll explain why. To find r, you have to use the distance formula, which is going to be the square root of 3 squared plus 0 squared. So we know that's going to be 9, so the square root of 9 is 3. Alright, anytime there is a 0 involved in your equation going from rectangular to polar, it's easier to draw this on a coordinate plane. Let me explain why. 3 0 is going to be on what degree? 1, 2, 3. That's this point, right? What degree is this? Or 2 pi, 360, right? So your r is 3 and your degree is 0. And that's it. Does that make sense? But let's look at this next one because it does not have a 0 involved, so it's a little trickier. R is still going to be the square root of 1 squared plus negative 1 squared. 1 squared plus negative 1 squared is going to give us what? So R is square root of 2. Alright, to find the degree on this one, we can't just graph it because it's not going to be on this axis right here. It doesn't have a 0 involved. So you're going to type in your calculator tan inverse of, and it's y over x, right, for tan. In this case, it really doesn't matter. What's y divided by x? Negative 1. Negative 1 over 1 is negative 1. So go ahead and type in tan inverse of negative 1 and tell me what you get. Okay. Now that doesn't mean that this is negative 45 degrees. We have to pay attention to what quadrant this is in. And what quadrant is this in? 4. Good. So quad 4. Now, is negative 45 degrees in quad 4?
It's the same as 315.
Yes. How did you know that?
316.
Very good. So either you could put square root of 2, comma 315, or if you put on your check pointer quiz square root of 2, comma negative 45 degrees or negative pi over 4, those will all work. Does that make sense?
They said we did just like it.
Yes, that's fine. Or negative pi over 4 or 315, whichever one.
How did you know?
Yeah, that's fine.
How did you know?
Because this one is cosine, this one's sine. So where's cosine positive and sine negative? Quad 4. Everybody with me? All right, we'll do one more together. Any specific one y'all want to do?
18.
18. All right. 18, we'll have the square root of negative 2 squared, which is what? 4. Plus, what is 2 square root of 3 squared? Well, let's see. We know that 2 times 2 is what?
4.
What is square root of 3 times square root of 3? Square root of 9, which is, so it'd be 12. If you didn't know that, you could type 2 square root of 3 squared in your calculator. It's just going to be square root of 16, which is 4. Very good. Alright, how do we find our angle? Tan inverse of what over what?
Y over x.
Yes, so negative 2 root 3 over what right here? Negative 2. And what happens to the negative 2's? So type in tan inverse of square root of 3. And tell me what your calculator says. 60? Now let's check it. What quadrant is sine and cosine both negative? Quad 3. Is 60 in quad 3?
No.
No. That means that this is its reference angle. Okay? So we have to find a degree in quadrant 3 that has a reference angle of 60. Alright, tell me how you knew that. Very good. Or in quadrant 3, to find the reference angle, you just take that angle and subtract 180. So I could set it up like an equation. Pi minus 180 equals 60. And to solve for this angle, you'd add 180 over. So you'd get what again, Colby? Very good. So you have to check. You can't just put whatever your calculator tells you. Because this one said 60. We know that this is in quad 3. 60 is not in quad 3. Sure. Alright, go ahead and do 16 and 17 on your own.
We'll have time to finish our checkpoint.
Yeah. If not, we'll work on it tomorrow. What now?
How you feel like 16?
No. Because 60 is not in quadrant 3. But the other one was negative 45, right? And was that in quad 4? Yeah. So we could leave it. Alright, let me write these answers down. I'm going to write the answers down for 16 and 17 so you can check it on your own, and then we'll go over it if we need to. So I'll leave those there for a second.
Yeah.
Can I break this down?
Can you what?
Can I break this down?
Can you break this down? Yeah, I've heard you break it down. It'd be 3 roots you would see. If it's not 36, you just break them up inside. You can make it 10 what. So it'd be 3. So you see that now?
I'll make sure I have these.
If you are ready to start your checkpoint and you're good with this, like you don't have any questions, let me know and I'll bring it to you. Just make sure you don't talk during this and you can use your notes. Don't forget this 1 through 18 is due tomorrow, so you only have like 2 problems to finish. Just make sure you get them all done tomorrow because I'll be checking it. You're welcome.
We keep this one.
The checkpoint? No, I need it back.
Oh, your degree. So you type in Windows WY or S. So this is the way to do it. So go ahead and type in Windows. It says negative 45, but let's check and see if it matches up. Because sometimes it just gives you a rectangle. This is like a what? 4 is negative 45 degrees also in clockwise? 6. So we could end up at negative 45 or it's the same as 315. Yeah, that's fine. So when you see 3 pi over 4, that's the same thing as it was. And that's in quadrant what? 2. Is this in quadrant 2? Very good. Very good.
One second. If you didn't get started, we can finish it tomorrow. Then take the quiz because the quiz is only like 10 questions. It's really short. Y'all have a good day. Jalen, hold on one second.